What's going on? Mitchell Renz, Tom Downey coming at you. You're watching NFL Daily by Chat Sports. We have the latest NFL news and rumors coming up in about 10 minutes or so. And before we get into that, we got a few fun questions for our live audience here. So we're going to let some people come in. We're going to wait for the audience to build up a little bit, and then we'll dive into today's show. So the first question I have, what's your favorite NFL topic? Free agency, draft,
That one.
trade?
That one. It's the draft.
It's the draft?
That one.
All right, so Tom is a diehard draft guy, and if you love the NFL draft, go give him a follow at What Going Downey. But what's your favorite topic? So type FA for free agency, if you want the D, draft, or T for trade.
Don't phrase it like that. That makes it sound dirtier than it is.
I mean, hey, I am seeing a lot of
Talking
Ds.
about ball skills in the draft.
A lot of Ds right now.
Talking about tight ends.
A lot of Ds flown in. Somebody said all of them. James, I think he got it right.
That's a good answer too.
See, for me, I'll say D for draft as well because I think we do so well here at Chat Sports. So last year, for those of you that don't know, we were the #1 most watched draft coverage on the internet. We expect to be the same this year. I will say this, though. Trades, they get crazy.
Trades are the most unique because free agency, there's a little bit more of a build up. You kind of get some whispers. Trade often of the three, trade goes from 0 to 100 the fastest.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Odell Beckham just got traded.
Oh my gosh, DeAndre Hopkins got traded for a second.
And the washed up corpse of David Johnson. It is, I think trade is the most fun in the moment because it is so chaotic.
I got you. Owen Chang says type W if you wash your hands today. Everyone, type W. Type W. Okay, Tom, I got another debate coming in. Got another debate coming up for you. We got a quarterback debate. We got Teddy Bridgewater or Tom Brady, both quarterbacks now of which in the NFC South.
Yeah.
Sounds weird. Who would you rather have as your quarterback? Type 5 for Teddy Bridgewater, or I want you to type 12 for Tom Brady.
You know that I'm a crazy person, right?
I am well aware. And I know one of these players I'm worried you leave your wife for.
You guys know that I love me some Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay.
I'm going to barely take Teddy. Oh. It's actually super close, though.
Really?
If I needed someone for a playoff run right now, I'd probably actually lean towards Brady.
Okay.
But if I need someone for more than just a couple of games and for an entire season and beyond, I much prefer Bridgewater, just because he's younger. I think Bridgewater is ascending. Brady, of course, he's the GOAT. He is on the decline. That's the reality of his age.
So for me, if I'm looking at it just in who I would rather have, I would probably take Brady. Okay. However, when you look at the contract that Teddy Bridgewater signed with the Panthers, 3 years, 63, that was one of the most favorable contracts, I'll say, in all of free agency. So if I got to pay Bridgewater compared to what I got to pay Brady, I'll type my 5 for Teddy Bridgewater. Continue to get your votes in here, though. I see Ricky Evans, he types 5. Tom Trey, he types 12. Then I also see Static Smoke is also going to type his 12. All right, let's get the next question rolling in here because we got to talk about Antonio Brown when he's in the news. Will AB play in the NFL again? Type Y for yes, type N for no. And I hope it's N for no. I really do.
So you're saying FAB in the comments, Mitch?
FAB.
Always a good one. Look, I am over Antonio Brown. I wouldn't be that surprised if somebody picked him up.
Yep.
But I don't want him anywhere near my team. I don't think he's a good influence. I think he's a negative influence. You can use the word locker room cancer if you want. I think that's what he was for the Las Vegas Raiders at the end of last year. I know Brady liked him. I think Brady liked having a little pet personal project to try and develop and whatnot. But I'm not really interested in Antonio Brown going forward.
Right now for AB, I think the fact that he didn't play last year was a big sign of that because I thought the only way he was going to come back is if you would have saw maybe a big-time receiver go down on a playoff team, and they're like, oh, wait, we're trying to make a run here. We need to go out and get a talented receiver. I would have said that's the only way Antonio Brown would have came back. Now, he hasn't played an entire season, and just all the off-field antics, you can't give me a reason to bring him back.
I saw someone said he can change, and that's certainly accurate, but I don't want to take that risk.
Do you honestly think that Antonio Brown's changing?
Antonio Brown, all he had to do was just stop. Stop being on social media.
If he would have just taken his phone and just done that, he's actually probably still in the NFL. It's absolutely mind-blowing to me how you saw a player go from, I'll say, a Hall of Famer to now I don't think he gets in because of all this other BS that he's done. FABs in the comments section. So next question we're going to have rolling in here. We want you to let us know. What has been your favorite free agency signing so far. So what's your favorite free agency signing?
You're going to see one of our segments today is part of that, so I'm going to not reveal my answer quite yet.
Okay, so we're going to have your votes come in. Bosco Gamer says
Big
Hopkins.
V. I'm kidding.
Technically, that was a trade.
Okay, so Hopkins does not count.
Thank you.
Because obviously that's the best one.
Okay, but it's a trade.
Like, that is the best one. It's a trade. So it does not count.
The key word there is signing.
Yes.
Okay.
They have to have signed somebody. I'm also not counting DeForest Buckner, for example, either.
I'm seeing David says Kyle Van Noy. So Kyle Van Noy signed 4 years, $51 million with the Miami Dolphins. Jack Conklin from Jacob. That's a good signing. Gerald McCoy from Tom Trey. Melvin Gordon to the Broncos from Ricky Evans. Jimmy Graham from the Fourth Strong. Sorry, bro. Sorry, man. It's there's not enough.
When we do the worst contract signings, that one will be on there.
Steve Keim, Eric Ebron, DJ Reader, Phillip Rivers, anybody that went to the Bengals. I see Corey Littleton in there.
Okay, I like that one.
Let's see. A lot of Littletons, Keim, DJ Reader. Continue to get your votes in. And then coming up here in, we'll say maybe 30, 40 minutes or so if you're watching this live, we're going to have our top 10 favorite signings in free agency. I don't know if you guys saw this. We might want to shield your eyes because this is rated
Kill it
R.
with fire.
The Los Angeles Charger Rams released a new logo, and we want you to grade the logo. So A, B, C, D, or F.
So mistake number one by the LA Rams is that they've got like 3 different things going on here that they put out. I don't mind the color scheme. I actually kind of preferred the navy and the white they kind of used last year a lot. I like that. The Los Angeles Rams part is fine. I don't have an issue with that. I don't mind the font. The Rams horn, I guess, is kind of, or the Rams head, I don't mind. I didn't think they needed to change it. And I appreciate how they took the horn of the Ram and put it on the LA. But the LA part is trash.
Awful.
That is horrible. If you just look at the top part of LA with the little swoosh, I still can't tell if that's Chargers or Rams.
If anything,
is it a Ram horn or a lightning bolt?
It literally says LAC.
Like, exactly. It looks like a C.
It literally says LAC.
I do not understand it. If there was one LA team, it would probably be better. But the lack of clarity as to which team this even is horrible. They didn't need some massive redesign. I don't mind the Rams head. I think that's maybe the better part of it. But there is no best part of it.
I think the worst.
This is bad.
I think the actual worst part was they put this logo out a month ago. We talked about it, and there were no good reviews. No good reviews.
And they're like, we're still going to do it.
And we're going to stick with it. It's an absolute F for me.
I got to find the tweet, but
look for the tweet.
Give me a second here.
Continue to get your grades in here. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of – I see somebody even said Z. Yeah, I mean –
that's not a number.
I think it's – I see Shelly says F. Ricky Evans says D. Claude Evans going to go F.
You guys can go check out my Twitter. It was my most – actually, you know, I'll just get it in the show. Give me 2 seconds here. I should have put this in earlier.
Tom's going to get negative 69.
Well, this isn't even like a creative design, so stand by. I just put it in, producer Dylan, if you want to try and grab it for me here real fast. They're the Angelo State. It's in photo, producer Dylan. The Angelo State logo that we'll show you guys here is, and I'm not really sure how to put it any other way than this, but it is the same. Like the logo for Angelo State University. Here it is. Ready for this? It's the same thing. It's the same.
So they hired an intern from Angelo State University to make the Rams logo.
This is the same logo, except the curl doesn't go as far. They've got the exact same little horn. It's identical.
Wow.
They stole this. This isn't even creative. Angelo State should sue for copyright infringement. That's their logo.
That's not
Are
good.
you guys serious?
I mean, I was pretty mind blown the fact that they kept it, the fact that it still looks like a Chargers logo to me. Either way, it's not very pretty, but I think we can all agree on one thing. LA, it's still run by the Raiders. So coming up now on NFL Daily, we're going to have the latest rumors, news. We'll go through like a free agency tracker, if you will, kind of giving you the most latest and greatest new contracts and signings. Then we're going to do a live draft Q&A. So when we get into that draft Q&A, make sure that you're using hashtag draft. That tells producer Dylan to put your question on the show, or you can super chat. Then we'll get into the top 10 free agent signings. Remember, just signings, not trades. DeAndre Hopkins. And then a live trade Q&A. So when we get into that one, make sure they're using #trade. If you're looking for the latest NFL news, rumors, where you're in the right place, you're watching NFL Daily by Chat Sports. I'm Mitchell Renz. That's Tom Downey. And Tom, we got a trade rumor to start off the show here, so let's get right into it. It's around Quinton Dunbar, and the Redskins, they're accepting trade calls for their star cornerback.
Yeah, talked a little bit about this yesterday. We'll go more in depth right now on it. Dunbar is a good corner. I don't really think he's a true number one, but he's cheap. He's still very young. He's on the rise. I think that makes Dunbar an attractive option. Now, the Redskins could easily re-sign him if they wanted to. As they kind of adjust their plans, I'm not convinced he's truly involved. Now, Dunbar is already 27. He's maybe a little bit older than you might think because, well, he played receiver at Florida and has since made the transition successfully over to corner in the NFL. I think he's more of a number two, but he is a good player. Yeah. And as the Redskins in reality rebuild under Ron Rivera, he might not quite fit their timeline. And if that's the case, because of the mass number of teams that need cornerback help, Dunbar could be attractive to several of those teams, Mitch.
So before we get into our top 5 teams for Quinton Dunbar, where do you think that he's going to play?
Fun fact,
in 2020?
He literally just got traded.
Where?
To the Seattle Seahawks. Literally just this second, Quinton Dunbar is now a member of the Seattle Seahawks.
So breaking news, Quinton Dunbar has been traded to the Seattle Seahawks.
I love that deal for Seattle.
Good for them.
I think that's a really good move by the Seahawks. Now, let me see if I can
they needed some cornerback help, so we do have some breaking news as we're literally doing it here on NFL Daily. That's what you're going to get. Just another reason to subscribe and another reason to turn on those notifications because guess what? It's the NFL and crazy things happen. So there was a lot of news built up around Quinton Dunbar potentially getting traded. They were taking some offers, and now he has been traded to the Seattle Seahawks. Pretty mind-blowing stuff there.
Still don't have the details as to what that trade actually is, but Quinton Dunbar is now a member of the Seattle Seahawks here, so give us a couple seconds. We'll update our graphics here for you guys. But Seattle, there you go, Mitch. I like this deal a lot for the Seahawks because they needed help at corner. Yeah. They had Shaquille Griffin and not a whole lot else.
No, not a whole lot else. Plus, now you're probably dealing with the best division in all of football. You're looking at a team that got significantly better this offseason in the Arizona Cardinals. And if you want to be able to have competition in that division, you need to be able to try to cover DeAndre Hopkins. And right now, the Seahawks team, I think they did the right things going into the season. But inserting Dunbar, you kind of mentioned it before. Now, I like PFF. I don't think they're the all-be-all. And I think Dunbar is getting a little bit overrated.
I'm going to interrupt you again. The phrase is they are not the end-all, be-all.
End-all, be-all.
You keep saying be-all.
Okay, well, they're not the end-all, be-all, but Dunbar was rated as the second-best cornerback according to PFF last year. I don't think he's top 10. Honestly, in my opinion, he's a very good corner. He's still growing into his own at age 27, but as Tom mentioned, he was a wide receiver coming out of Florida. Interesting move here by the Redskins. They're going to shift him over to the Seahawks. I'll be interested to see how this division shapes out because the NFC West right now is a very, very fun and entertaining division. So we talked about Dunbar getting traded, and then once you know it, about 30 seconds in here to the show, Dunbar has been traded to the Seattle Seahawks.
I do have the updates here for you guys. It is a 5th-round pick going in exchange for Quinton Dunbar. So that's not very much for Dunbar. Now, he's in the last year of his contract. That's certainly a big option here. But, I mean, I love this deal for Seattle, yeah.
Oh, huge. I think it's absolutely great, too. I mean, I saw some people even throwing out there they might have had to spend a little bit more to go out and get a Dunbar because of the Darius Slay trade, but I still don't think Dunbar is in the same category as a Darius Slay. But if you're telling me right now I can trade a 5th to go out and get a solid corner, who I will think is going to be the number 2 corner there, I think it's a pretty good move here for this Seahawks team. So, traded to Seattle. That's Dunbar. So, we'll fill you in here on the Quinton Dunbar trade.
So, Dunbar traded to the Seattle Seahawks for a 5th-round pick. And I'll make note, That's what they gave up to get Kyle Allen earlier today, by the way. Just noteworthy there for Quinton Dunbar and for the Seattle Seahawks.
So Quinton Dunbar has been traded to the Seattle Seahawks, and there was plenty of rumors. We talked about him here on NFL Daily that he could be moved and that the Redskins were listening, and now a deal is done. Quinton Dunbar has been traded to the Seattle Seahawks for a 5th-round pick. In comparison, the most recent cornerback trade was Darius Slay for a 3rd and a 5th. Seattle had a major need here at corner. They go out and get Dunbar, who was rated the 2nd-best corner, according to PFF. He was entering the final year of his contract at, $3.25 million. I think with this trade, he's also now going to get an extension, which he has wanted.
I think that's the path here for Seattle. I'm not convinced they're going to immediately give him an extension. They might try to wait a little bit longer just with where they're currently at in terms of their contract situation. But Dunbar's a good corner.
Yeah.
I like this move a ton for Seattle, and I was going through I was updating all my draft notes there and team needs notes the other night because I was super behind in free agency. And corner was still one of the top needs for Seattle. They hadn't been able to address it yet. I love it when teams give up mid to late round picks for a corner or for a defense player, or really for anybody, because you are not going to get a Quinton Dunbar caliber player in year one. There's little to no chance of that actually happening. Now in Seattle, you had Shaquille Griffin, who maybe isn't a dynamic number 1, but I think he can handle that role enough. Dunbar comes in as now a really good number 2 option. Yeah, I think you still got to figure out the rest of your depth there beyond Ugo Amadi. You got some free agents. I don't love Jamar Taylor as an option. So for Seattle, to give up only a 5th-round pick, now you don't have to go corner in round 1. You should still take one early since Dunbar only has 1 year left on his contract. But for the Seattle Seahawks, I love this deal. I think they are a clear-cut winner of this trade.
So who won the trade? Seahawks or Redskins? Type S for Seahawks, or you can type your R for Redskins. Let's go now to Antonio Brown because, there's some news, not real news around AB. We know that he wants to play in the NFL again, and the rumors are that he wants to play with Tom Brady again. The issue is there's been kind of conflicting reports whether or not the Bucs would be interested and whether or not AB would actually, end up being back in the NFL.
I don't think the Bucs should be interested, man. I know that Brown and Brady kind of want to play together, which is weird to me.
Because apparently they're friends.
It's a weird relationship, but whatever,
To each their own.
Maybe Brady's like that person who wants to fix the guy that they're dating. Maybe that's what Brady is right now. I mean, from a pure talent Madden perspective, like Evans, Chris Godwin, and Antonio Brown is awesome. But from a chemistry perspective,
would not be good. So this is what Antonio Brown had to say on Tom Brady. It's not about me. It's about him. I'm just excited for him and his new team, new opportunity to see how well he can do. I know his leadership, his on-the-field play is second to none. So it's all about Tom, man. I'm grateful for him. Second part of the quote, we both have our own situations. I'm just trying to do everything I can do to get stuff out of the way so I can get back on the field. I'm just excited for TB. He's got a great opportunity. He's one of my close friends. And we know that Antonio Brown played with New England this past year, and he had that one game against the Dolphins, 4 catches, 56 yards, and a touchdown, and it looked nice, right? So I think it's the fact that they have stayed in contact, and even though AB's kind of gone off the wall,
I see FABs in the
Brady has been in contact with Antonio Brown, and then we did see that one game, that one sample size where it did work. So I guarantee you we are still going to have these NFL rumors. We're going to keep you guys as up-to-date as possible. So will AB ever play in the NFL again? Y for yes, N for no, or FAB?
Well, FAB is always an acceptable answer. I think there's a chance that someone picks him up. But the way that he went down in both Las Vegas and the Patriots, it's one thing like...
And the Steelers.
If in the Steelers, too, if you don't get along with one organization, a team will give you another chance. He went through 3 of them in less than a calendar year.
Yeah, it was...
Like, it was quick how fast those bridges were burnt. And other organizations talk to each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they want to touch Antonio Brown now with a 10-foot pole.
He threw away $60 million in 11 days. Yeah. That's really, really tough to do. And I knew a lot of Raider fans, they bought Antonio Brown jerseys, and, well, you might need a new one. And if you're one of those people, go to chatsports.com/jersey deal. If you just need a new NFL jersey, we have these unbelievable deals. Normally, These bad boys are around $100. Now, we have found a few that are under $80, so if you want to go take advantage of this price drop, you got to go to chatsports.com/jersey deal. If you can't remember that link, we'll put it in the description. I already see the Chat Sports team. They're putting it in the comments section below. So all you got to do is just click on that, go get your favorite player, go get your favorite team, take advantage of these deals before they go. It's chatsports.com/jersey deal. We're not done talking about the Patriots, though, because maybe they're getting their new starting quarterback in Brian
Stop
Hoyer.
it. No, stop it right
Ian
now.
Rappaport, I heard him talking
I'm
about
cutting
it.
you off right now. No, this is not happening in
I
New
don't
England.
know.
I know that this is what Hoyer's agent was like, well, hey, the Patriots let him compete for a job. He's not winning it, guys. He's not.
If it's between
He's
him and Jared Stidham.
Stidham every time. Do you know why? Because Stidham might be something in 2 years. In 2 years, Brian Hoyer is going to be a quarterback's coach, which is why they brought him in. They just lost the most experienced quarterback in the NFL. They needed a veteran presence on that team.
Yep.
I don't think Cody Kessler's going to make the roster, quite simply. You bring in Hoyer, you have a veteran backup who can mentor people. He's not going to start in New England unless Jared Stidham absolutely sucks. Also, I think they're tanking for Trevor Lawrence. I think that's what they're doing.
I mean,
look at their moves. I think they're tanking.
It would be
Seriously.
very, very surprising to see this New England Patriots team tank, but that's the world that we're living in right now. So Hoyer, he's obviously bounced around the league. He started his career in 2009 with the Patriots. This will now be his third stint with the team. Then you got to look at 2013 to play with the Browns. Then he went to the Houston Texans. And in 2016, the Chicago Bears. And now, we're finally back to this point where back to the New England Patriots in 2020. But if you're looking at a journeyman quarterback who's bounced around and played a lot of different areas, I agree. I think it's just a move to add a veteran presence. But there are people actually trying to sell you, hey, Brian Hoyer is competing to be that number one quarterback for this Patriots team. And he'll compete. He will compete. But he's on the team to almost be like a father figure to these two others. And as you mentioned, I don't really believe that Cody Kessler has a real shot to make this team because
go ahead.
I personally think that they're going to still draft a quarterback. I don't know what round, but I think that they're going to try to add another talent in the NFL draft. So we're going to let you predict, okay? We want you to predict who's going to be the Patriots starting quarterback in Week 1. Is it going to be Hoyer? Is it going to be Stidham? Could it be somebody else? Let us know. Who do you think is going to be the Patriots starting quarterback in Week 1? We made a video on the top 6 quarterbacks. We might have to update that.
Yeah, I think we will, especially as players leave. Dalton apparently isn't all that interested there. I wonder if maybe they roll with Stidham for a year just to see what he has. Yeah. I don't have a great feel for what the Patriots are going to end up doing here.
All right, Tom, let's now move on into this next little bit of news around the NFL draft. And is it not going to be in Vegas? This is pretty disappointing.
It's not going to happen. Now, we already knew the public draft events in Vegas had been canceled, and I was a little surprised the reaction that people have had for seeing this LA Times article. My response was, well, duh, guys.
What'd you expect?
If they're not going to do the public draft events, and they already mentioned how they were going to end up doing a whole bunch of video stuff, it wasn't going to be in Vegas, period. So this isn't like a surprise to me. I was very surprised that the reaction to it, it sucks, but it's not going to be in Vegas. They're going to have to do it remote. That's the reality of the world we're living in right now.
I think you almost have to have it in Vegas, though, sooner or later. All right, so how about this, Tom? We're going to look at the future NFL draft destinations. Mm-hmm. And they are Cleveland, TBD is in 2022, and then Kansas City in 2023. I mean, if 2022 is still...
There was buzz it was going to go to Green Bay, and that kind of fizzled out. That was, said that's not the case. So if things get back to normal in the near future, you could slot in 2022 for Vegas. Because Cleveland's already planning stuff. They can't pull it from Cleveland and push back a year. But with 2022 wide open, you could see it go to Vegas that season.
Totally agree.
Or I guess that offseason, I should say.
And if that does happen, we'll be giving it to you very, very first here. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, don't miss anything this offseason, next offseason, heck, the 2022 offseason. Chat Sports, the Big C, it's not going to slow us down. Click subscribe. Turn on your notifications, youtube.com/chatsportstv. All right, Tom, we're going to dive in now to your team, the Dallas Cowboys. And I know you talked about this a little bit on the Dallas Cowboys report, so I'm going to let you get back into it. Randy Gregory, is he coming back?
Well, he has applied for reinstatement with the NFL. This is not the first time there's been a report of it. This one actually seems to be the case. There was a report like 3 weeks ago, something like that, he'd applied, and it's like, no, he actually hadn't applied yet. Now he has. The Cowboys would welcome back Randy Gregory. This is a different audience than our Cowboys report, so I am happy to make this note. Randy Gregory's not David Irving, guys. This is a very different scenario, and the Cowboys with a big-time need at defensive end across from DeMarcus Lawrence because Robert Quinn is gone, leaves Dorrance Armstrong, Joe Jackson, and potentially Tyrone Crawford. That ain't going to get the job done. So you could welcome back Gregory, let him be an edge rusher, let him be that guy he was in 2018, but you also can't bank only on Randy Gregory fixing all of your issues. That's not a great idea because you run the risk of, something else happens right now. It was mostly a mental health issue for Randy Gregory, and I think the new rule changes really benefit him in terms of the CBA and marijuana and all of that. But I'm not going to count my chickens until they hatch, I think that's a bad idea to go about. I think that's where I'm at right now with Gregory.
I don't know if these guys are chickens or hogs. And what did you say? It's only big?
It's Fatty's only 2020 for the Dallas Cowboys. They are in talks with Dontari Poe about a deal. He brings what the Cowboys need. Holy fuck. Travis Frederick just retired. Okay. Sorry, I know we just kind of cut in there, but that just happened.
And
Travis
we dropped
Frederick.
an F-bomb,
Sorry.
so I don't know if we can say that. Yep, okay, so Dontari Poe, he was a player that the Cowboys were interested in, and as you just heard from Tom, he was pretty surprised that Travis Frederick just retired. So, Tom, are you going to be hanging out with me, or are you going to go to the Cowboys show?
I think I'm going to leave here in a little bit. Travis Frederick, I'll read off what he just put out there. After much consideration, discussion, and reflection, I have decided to retire from football. So center now a huge need for the Dallas Cowboys. That's your breaking news right there. Travis Frederick retiring from the NFL.
Wow.
Extremely unexpected news there because he just came back from Guillain-Barré syndrome and played really well last year.
Yeah.
So this is a stunning development here. Frederick only just turned 29 years old, 5-time Pro Bowl. I think he was a multi-time All-Pro as well. Frederick not a member of the Cowboys anymore. So you got Joe Looney, you got Connor McGovern. I think that'll be the main focal point here for the Cowboys.
Yep. So I was somebody just said put Tom on suicide watch. Yeah, we might have to. So we'll get into that. Tom's probably gonna go over and do a live Cowboys show. So if you're not already subscribed and you want more information on Travis Frederick, you can go subscribe youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. But let's get back to this Dontari Poe. The Cowboys and Poe, they've been in talks, and we know that they really want to kind of beef up that defensive line. The deal's not done, but it could be finished by the end of today. If that does happen, we will keep you as up-to-date as humanly possible. So I think when you're looking at Poe, though, I think he's definitely fallen off a little bit. I don't think he's ever going to be back to what he was at one point. But, when you have needs, even though I think the Gerald McCoy was a pretty sneaky good signing, but if you can also add Poe to that defensive line, I think that would be some serious depth there.
No, I think he's going to start for you as well, probably over Antoine Woods there. I think that'll kind of be the main area for the Cowboys in terms of that defensive line. You can keep Antoine Woods. Dontari Poe becomes your number one technique. Gerald McCoy's over there at the 3 technique. You need bodies there. Now you've got one of those in Dontari Poe, and I think that'd be a big addition for the Cowboys if they're able to get him on the roster. So I think that's the main focal point for Dallas on the interior.
Overall, Frederick, shock level.
10. I am stunned right now.
Yeah?
Okay. I am stunned.
All right, so that's Poe's last 4 seasons. Let's get in now to the next rumor. It's around Jameis Winston and his latest, and I'm not really too surprised by this report because apparently the market now for Winston, it's ice cold, and I think there's 2 reasons to this. One, the issue that's going on with the world, the big C, plus what is Jameis Winston's market actually? Because for me, I don't really know what it is. So Winston, I think he still wants to be a starter, and there might be one team that might be able to give him that. However, there is a lot of controversy around Jameis Winston, and for good reasons. I mean, think about it. Not only is it just the 30 interceptions from last year, but back in 2018, he was suspended for 3 games. So Tom is going to now pop off, just so everyone knows. He is going to head over to Studio B, and he is going to do a Cowboys report. So it is just going to be me for the rest of the time being. Hopefully that's okay with y'all. So Winston, though, I think he might want to be a starter, but again, according to Jeff Darlington, the market right now for him is ice cold. And I've said it before on this show, I've said it before on past shows. I would not want Jameis Winston to be my quarterback. And when the Buccaneers talked about their quarterback ranking and needs, they first went with Tom Brady, then they said it was Teddy Bridgewater, then they said it was Jameis Winston. The fact that they had Jameis Winston all the way down there, probably not very confident in them. But confidence, I will give Jameis one thing. He at least has some confidence. I don't know if y'all saw this tweet or post on Instagram. This is what he put out there, okay? It's been a great 5 seasons as a Buccaneer. All love, respect. I love Tampa, and I look forward to seeing y'all again in February. Do you see the hashtags? Super Bowl. He is projecting himself to still go to the Super Bowl in Tampa. Jameis, my man, love the confidence. I don't think it's going to happen. So how about this? Where will Jameis play in 2020? I want you to throw it in the comments section. Yes, I think we did put Tom on suicide watch, so go make sure he's okay over at the Dallas Cowboys Report channel. And get your votes in here on where you think that Tom's going to play. Where you think Jameis is going to play in 2020. So Bosco Gamer says nowhere. I see TTV says Steelers. I'm seeing the Chargers in there. I am seeing some nowhere, some Pats. Continue to get your votes in here. Where you think Jameis Winston is going to play in 2020. And for me, here are the top 4 teams that I think Jameis is going to end up with. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers, so I saw somebody say that. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I think that you could see them maybe potentially go out and get a Winston. The Los Angeles Chargers, and I'll throw out this team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Can we really trust Carson Wentz to be fully healthy? And I think if you're a team that doesn't have a lot of good options behind Wentz, maybe you go out and maybe you get a Jameis Winston. So those are my top 4 teams for Jameis Winston. I don't know if y'all saw this. It is the new logo by the Los Angeles Rams, and I want you to grade the logo. A, B, C, D, or F. For me, it is a hard, as Tom already said, the F word, it's an F. I mean, it's a big fat F to me. Why? This logo has already been released, and the votes came in, and they were all Fs. And yet you still stick with this one. Then it looks like the Los Angeles Chargers more than it looks like the Rams. I get the Ram down below, but, I mean, you're trying to attract new fans. You're trying to attract a new audience to a new stadium, and that's the logo you're going to go with? A logo, in my opinion, that is very confusing. We have 183 people watching us live right now on YouTube, and I don't see a single grade above a D. Sorry, Rams. F is the grade. Let's go in now to a rumor around the Carolina Panthers. Actually, not a rumor. It's news. P.J. Walker has joined the Carolina Panthers. And maybe for those of you that, watch the XFL, you've actually heard of P.J. Walker's name before. So he was an absolute star in the XFL, and he also has played college football at Temple. Why does that matter? Well, the new head coach of the Carolina Panthers is Matt Rule, and Matt Rule worked with P.J. Walker a little bit. Also, Carolina has been super active in free agency, moving quarterbacks around, and with trades. They traded away Kyle Allen today for a 5th-round pick. We know that they plan on moving on from Cam Newton, so now you potentially add Teddy Bridgewater's backup in. For those of you that maybe have never heard of PJ or don't know what his numbers look like, these are his 5 games at the XFL. So you got that 64.7% completion percentage, 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And I'll say this, if you actually watch the games, in my opinion, he was by far the best player on the field every single time he took the field. So good job for PJ Walker. Shout out to him. I'm excited that he's now back in the NFL. So how about this? Pick a quarterback, all right? We just talked about Jameis, and now we're talking about Walker. If you had to pick a quarterback, who are you going with? Type P for PJ Walker or type J for Jameis Winston? I am genuinely curious on what you guys have to say here because I know PJ Walker's a fun name, and I already see the amount of P's in the comments. I still think it's Jameis Winston. I still think Jameis Winston is a better quarterback than PJ Walker. Nothing against PJ. He played on the Colts practice squad from 2017 to 2019, and I don't think Jameis is good, but I still think I'd probably take Jameis Winston over PJ Walker. Somebody said P, and it's not even close. Ricky Evans said, where's Tom? Tom's on suicide watch because Travis Frederick, well, he just retired. So now let's get into our free agency tracker. And we have Kyle Allen trade. This is the one that kind of came through here. We had Kyle Allen, went to the Washington Redskins. The Carolina Panthers, they receive a 2020 fifth-round pick. We're going to be kind of quick going through this, just keep that in mind. The Panthers, they also added a linebacker and Tahir Whitehead. Whitehead was released by the Las Vegas Raiders. That move saved the Raiders $6.25 million. So good for Whitehead. He agrees to a one-year, $2.5 million deal, and now has a chance to be a starter in Carolina. So we go from Carolina, now let's talk about the Raiders, where Marcus Mariota, we finally have the contract details for him. 2 years, $17.6 million with the Raiders. He gets a guaranteed $7.5 million in base salary. But the important thing here is the incentives. The incentives for Mariota's contract can get up to $37.5 million. That's a lot of money. What does that tell me? That signing Marcus Mariota wasn't just for a backup. It's also that they don't have 100% confidence in Derek Carr. So how about this question? Who's going to end the year as the starter for the Las Vegas Raiders? Is it going to be Derek Carr or is it going to be Marcus Mariota? If you think it's going to be Derek Carr, I want you to type 4. If you think it's going to be Marcus Mariota, I want you to type 8. Now, I'll still type my 4 for Derek, but the fact that they gave Marcus Mariota a contract, okay, a contract with up to $37.5 million in incentives, it should at least make you scratch your head a little. Let's now get into another player here, Dion Lewis, a running back that I used to love in fantasy football. He is on his way to the New York Giants. He agreed to a one-year deal, going to be 30 years old, and I think what you're looking for him, just to be a complimentary back to Saquon Barkley. We're going to go from the Giants to the other team there in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The New York Jets have agreed to a deal with Jordan Jenkins, 1 year, $5 million. He led the team last year with 8 sacks. From the Jets, let's now go to Baltimore because Jimmy Smith, he is re-signed with the Ravens. I'm not too surprised on this deal. 1 year, $6 million, and I think he's been one of the best Ravens, I'll say, over the last 5 years, in my opinion. So good for Jimmy Smith, good for the Baltimore Ravens. Also, a little bit of sad news, I think, for maybe some Patriot fans or just fans of football in general. Steven Gostkowski, yes, kickers are people too. He has played 14 seasons with the Patriots, is the franchise leader in points with 1,775. He dealt with a hip injury last year. He has been released by the New England Patriots. So I want you to let me know, what's your favorite board game? Because the Big C, it's messing up my weekend plans. It's messing up my time when I go home. And I need some new board games in my life. Like, I got Uno. I went out and got Telestrations After Dark. If you've never heard of it, it's probably because you're not over 18. I've got some interesting board games at home. Heck, my roommates and I, we just bought Twister. We're getting bored. So I'm seeing Monopoly. Somebody said Life. Life is a game that I've played before. Monopoly just takes way too long. Apples to Apples. What game are you guys playing? Guess Who? Game of Life, Monopoly, Content 4, Monopoly, Clue, Sorry. See, my vote was for Sorry. That's the game I wanted. Did anybody remember Trouble? It's fun getting into Trouble. I used to play that all the time. Chess. See, I'm the only one of my roommates that knows how to play chess. None of my other roommates know how. They only know how to play checkers. Somebody said my mother. Ooh, looks like you're going to get blocked. So, seeing Dominoes, Trouble was a good game. If you have any other suggestions for me on what games I need to buy, Snakes and Ladders, Clue, I would appreciate it. Hit me up on Instagram at MitchellRenz365. So let's get in now to our draft Q&A. If you have any questions for me, use hashtag draft. If I don't get to all your questions, remember you can hit me up on Instagram. It's down below at MitchellRenz365. So to get your questions on the show, the 2 ways to do it. Use hashtag draft, or you can super chat. All right, let's get on into the show. We got Bears Furry Real using that hashtag draft. You're watching NFL Dailies, live Q&A around the draft. Where do you think the Bears, or who do you think the Bears will draft? I think the Bears will draft Coleman McDonald threw 33 touchdowns, 14 picks. in college football game. This is what I want you to do. We have a Bears channel, youtube.com/BearsTV. Go check it out. I would appreciate that. My man Harrison would appreciate it. We've got some videos on who they would take at 43 and at 50. I don't know if they're going to go out and draft a quarterback, though, after going out and trading for Nick Foles. Let's go to Ben Purvis, who looks like your twin brother. Either way, get a picture. Is the top 3 wide receivers out? What do you think the Eagles should do at 21? So the top 3 receivers are Jerry Jeudy. This is according to me. Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, and CeeDee Lamb. I think if the Eagles desperately still need a wide receiver, y'all can call me crazy. I think Justin Jefferson would be a really good fit there. Laviska Shenault is another player to keep in mind. Denzel Mims is another player to keep in mind. I've seen some people mock KJ Hamler there out of Penn State. I think that's a little bit too early for me. But if you need a wide receiver and you have to go wide receiver, I think Justin Jefferson's a good pick. Let's go to David. What up, David? Which quarterback will the Dolphins draft? So the Dolphins have the 5th overall pick, and if it's up to me, if I'm running the Dolphins team, I'm going to go with Tua. I just think he's the guy that you got to go with. He's been the guy that you've been rumored to tank for, and if he's fully healthy, I think he has the highest upside. So for me, I'm going to say Tua. Let's go to one of our most loyal watchers, Winston Shan, who recently has made a Chat Sports Moments Instagram account. So if you haven't followed it, go do it. It's chats_sports_moments. You're welcome, Winston. If Tua never got hurt, his hip, would his draft selection change? I don't think it would. I'm the owner of Chat Sports Moments on Insta. Yes, you are. Do I think it would change? Honestly, maybe. I think the only other way it would be is you could see him maybe being like a 2 or 3. There is a little bit of nerve. You have to be a little bit scared about drafting Tua because it's not just the hip. It's also lower body injuries as well. But I think if we were sitting here, I think no matter what, even if he didn't get hurt, Joe Burrow would be the number 1 quarterback. So I think that would take down to his draft stock just a little bit. We got a Cowboys fan coming in now. Brian, Tom's about to go live on the Cowboys Report channel. You can see it below, youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. Could the Cowboys trade back from 17 if the package is right? Who would trade up? Maybe the Patriots for a late first-round quarterback. I don't really think the Cowboys move from pick 17. I think that they're going to stay pack, either go after a cornerback. Now, since there's rumors about them going after a defensive tackle, I don't think that happens as much. They need still help in the secondary. Maybe you can see them going out and getting a receiver, but Tom seems pretty set on them either going out and getting a cornerback, so I'm going to believe my man Tom. Let's go to the next question, and remember to use #draft or to super chat. We got Claude Evans. He's rolling in here. Should Seattle draft Grant Delpit or Denzel Mims or an edge rusher? It's a good question. I think edge rusher would be interesting. Denzel Mims is a need. However, I think they already kind of have a Denzel Mims with DK Metcalf. So if you're asking me, out of all those, I think Grant Delpit would probably be the best fit for them. Edge rusher is interesting considering they don't know what they're going to do with Jadeveon Clowney. Also, they did just trade for Quinton Dunbar. So as soon as we went live here on Chat Sports, they did just trade for Quinton Dunbar. So maybe that takes a little bit of a need away from the secondary, but I'll still say the biggest glaring need right now is figuring out what they're going to do with Jadeveon, whether or not they're going to re-sign him or bringing in some secondary help. So remember to use #draft. That tells producer Dylan what questions. That'd be great, or you guys can super chat. So next question's rolling in here from Jacob. What up, Jacob? Should the Ravens trade up for an inside linebacker edge? I'll say no. I'm not really the biggest believer in trading up, especially for an inside linebacker and edge. I kind of believe in the camp you only trade up if you have a super, super glaring need or if you desperately need a quarterback. And for the Ravens, I mean, they had 12 Pro Bowlers last year. They went 14-2. This is a very good football team. I don't really see the Ravens trading up. Historically, they've been a team that trades down a little bit more often, so I'll say no on that front. But Jacob, appreciate you always watching. I know you're a loyal subscriber. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure that you are. Let's go to the Popos. What up, the Popos? Should Dallas draft C.J. Henderson and Cesar Ruiz? So Tom's the main draft guy. If you guys have some questions for Tom around the draft, you could ask him a little bit more about Cesar. But for me, I love C.J. Henderson. I think C.J. Henderson is going to be a very, very good NFL player. Ran a 4.39 40 at the combine. He's pretty long. I think he looks like your prototypical corner. And if there's a need right now for this Cowboys team, it's definitely a corner. So would I like that move for Dallas? Yes, I would. Let's now go to this deal I got, chatsports.com/NFL hats. If you're a Cowboys fan, you need a Cowboys hat, this deal, it's for you. Hats up to 40% off. If you're not a Cowboys fan, let's say you're a fan of, I don't know, the 31 other teams, this deal still applies to you. Just go to chatsports.com/NFL hat. If you can't remember that, you can go in the description or shout out to my Chat Sports team here. They're putting the link in the comment section below. Any hat, any NFL team, flat bill, snapbacks, curved brims, we got you covered up to 40% off. Again, that is at chatsports.com/NFL hat. If somebody gets a hat, take a pic, send it to me on IG. Let's go to Big Mike. Why do they call you that? What do you think my Niners do in the first round? I think it's at what pick, right? I think at pick 13, you either go defensive tackle, maybe like a Javon Kinlaw, or I think you really made that trade, trading away Buckner, because you wanted to draft a receiver. Like, I think when I think of the big three, it would not surprise me whatsoever if it went Jerry Jeudy to the Jets, CeeDee Lamb to the Raiders, and then you're looking at Henry Ruggs to the 49ers. That would not surprise me at all. Now, in pick 31, we talked about a team that could potentially trade out of the first round. At that time, I thought it would have been the 49ers at pick 31 because they don't really have any, like, super big glaring needs in my opinion. Wide receiver, though, defensive tackle now with some of the trades and moves they made, I think that's where they go at pick 13. Let's go to Gavin. What up, Gavin? Chiefs take Laviska Shenault at 32. Why don't you think? I think teams are going to be scared with Laviska Shenault because of the Big C, because of his injuries. Like, if you're looking for an all-around super talented player, Chenault's definitely that. So at Colorado, he was returning punts. He had solid rushing numbers. He had solid receiving numbers. But we always talk about injuries when we talk about Shenault, and even at the Combine, he ran a bad 40. Why? Because his hamstring wasn't fully healthy. And right now at teams and physicals, you're not really going to be able to be confident to know whether or not he's healthy. So I think that's actually why Laviska, he's going to slide out of round 1. Let's go to my man Ricky Evans. Ricky, get a pick. What should the Broncos do in the draft? I think the Broncos need to continue to build around Drew Lock. I think they need to continue to obviously build that defense because that's kind of their historical. I think that's how they're going to win football games. No offense to the offense, but they're going to win football games with that defense and then relying on, Melvin Gordon, Royce Freeman, and Lindsey to pound the rock. I still think, though, if Henry Ruggs is on the board at 15 or at one of those top 3 receivers, I think the Broncos go wide receiver. Let's go to my man Dalton Smith. Dalton, appreciate that you DM me on IG. Again, if I miss any questions on today's show or future shows, just DM me. I always check them after. Should the Saints draft Kenneth Murray? Kenneth Murray is an interesting prospect for me, a linebacker out of Oklahoma. If he's fully healthy, it could be an interesting fit there for that team. They definitely need some defensive help. I would have said before they went out and signed Emmanuel Sanders that they could potentially add another receiver to help Michael Thomas, but do I think Kenneth Murray would be a good fit in New Orleans? Yeah. However, I think if they go linebacker, I think Patrick Queen, connection with LSU, has a better chance of getting drafted than Kenneth Murray. Let's go to Kevin Otto. What up, Kevin? Who are some potential busts? I'll be honest, I don't like this question because I think busts are kind of hard to predict, and I don't like saying a young guy who's about to probably have one of the best days of his entire life, he's going to be a bust. But that is my job, and I will answer it to my best ability. I am a little bit worried about Javon Kinlaw. I'll be honest. The effort at times does scare me. I'll say you're probably going to look at one of the quarterbacks, right? Like either Justin Herbert, Tua, heck, Joe Burrow. You could even see a bust there. I know, being a Bengals fan, you probably don't want to hear that. You could also see, I mean, if history does tell us anything, one of the wide receivers that's between Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, or CeeDee Lamb, one of them could be a bust because the first-round receivers drafted have not turned out very well. Let's go to Daniel. What up, Daniel? With Travis Frederick just retiring, is center a new need for the Cowboys? Yeah. Major need for this Dallas Cowboys team. I mean, for those that didn't see the live show about an hour, 30 minutes ago, Tom literally dropped an F-bomb. Like, literally dropped an F-bomb once he heard that Travis Frederick retired. So, yeah. And just for y'all, we can't say the F word, so instead of saying the F word, we say Tom. So, yeah, everyone right now, start typing Tom. Let's go to Mr. Marsh. I almost said Mr. Warsh. 13 is too high for Ruggs. He's just fast. Not a number 1 receiver. If not CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy, 49ers should draft a defensive tackle or cornerback. like C.J. Henderson or Derek Brown. I don't know if Derek Brown's going to be available at 13. I think that would be an absolute great fit. I really like him out of Auburn. And Henderson, for me, I would actually take Henry Ruggs at 13 over a player like C.J. Henderson. I think C.J. Henderson's a great player, but I think also in terms of needs, I think Henry Ruggs at 13 would be a good fit there because he can also help in special teams. He gets the comparison to Tyreek Hill. I don't think that's a fair comparison. I think he's a little bit more like a Deshaun Jackson type, but at 13, I do think it'd be a pretty good fit. And I think we're a pretty good fit. If you love NFL content, we were going to be free for the next, I believe, 365 days. So if you're looking for the best bang for your buck content that's going to keep you as up-to-date as possible, Chat Sports, we're your two. We're your crew. Mitch, get your words right. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. Click sub. Turn on the notifications so you know exactly when we go live. So NFL videos all off season long around trades, around mock drafts, free agency moves. We got it all for you. Keep up to date with Chat Sports. Subscribe below. Let's go to David. What up, David? Who is the best running back in the draft? It's a good question. There's a part of me that wants to say Jonathan Taylor. And I understand that he's probably not the guy that's getting mocked the highest in drafts. But when I watched Jonathan Taylor at Wisconsin, and then when I saw his combine, I might be unpopular in saying that he's the best running back, but I do think he's the best running back in the draft. Sure, he's not the best ball catcher, but he never really had to do that at Wisconsin. I think teams are going to be pretty disappointed on him. I'll also say DeAndre Swift, great running back. J.K. Dobbins, the great vision there. But call me crazy, I'll probably say Jonathan Taylor. Let's go Star Wars theory. Should the Patriots tank next season and draft Trevor Lawrence? I'm almost wondering if this is Tom's burner account because this is something that Tom's been talking about for a few days now. I mean, when you look at the moves that they've made, you can't really tell me that they're trying to win football games. And would I put it past Belichick? No. It just seems weird to say the Patriots that they're tanking. Let's go to the next question rolling in here from Caleb. What quarterback do you think the Steelers will draft? I don't know if the Steelers actually draft a quarterback. I could see them potentially going out and signing, it might be an unpopular opinion, Jameis Winston. But if you want to get a big arm quarterback, James Morgan's been a guy that I've been hearing floating around in terms of the Patriots. And he's from Florida International, really funky delivery. But if you're looking for a big arm quarterback, he could be a guy. Jacob Eason, another big body quarterback, not quite like Ben, but again, I think the Steelers kind of have that certain mold of quarterbacks that they want. Logan, he's the next guy up here on NFL Daily. What can Cincinnati do in the second round? A Denzel Mims or possible Josh Jones or somebody as linebacker if Kenneth Murray slips? I think the only way Kenneth Murray slips is if his injuries that he sustained at the combine are still, I guess, impacting him. Denzel Mims, though, I think would be a very, very interesting fit there because you're going to need wide receiver help. I love A.J. Green. Can you actually rely on him being healthy? I'm not sure. But with Denzel Mims, A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, it'd be a pretty interesting wide receiver core there for a player like Joe Burrow. So what do you prefer, Netflix or Hulu? I asked you guys earlier, board games. Now I'm going to ask you Netflix or Hulu because I'm getting to a point where I don't know what to watch. I don't know what to do. I love making videos for y'all. However, I am not 100% sure how to spend my free time. So honestly, Netflix or Hulu, and if you want to be an overachiever, give me some show recommendations because right now I'm watching Dexter. I'm about to run out on Dexter. I love Rick and Morty. I'm a big Mouth fan if you guys like animated comedy. So I'm seeing a lot of Netflix in here, seeing a Hulu from Bosco Gamer, watch All-American from Junior, okay. What else we got here? Give me some recommendations. Netflix and chill, have done that. Yu-Gi-Oh! It's been a minute since I've watched Yu-Gi-Oh! More of a Pokemon fan. You can watch The Hub. Can't watch The Hub. Actually, even The Hub has been suspended because of the Big C. Breaking Bad, I've already seen it. Superstore on Hulu. A book would be good. You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong there. My issue is I just don't like to read, which might surprise many of you, but not into it. Watch Black Cover. Leonard Kenny is the greatest. All-American is awesome. Okay, so I've seen Bob's Burgers, Black Cover, and All-American. Okay, and I'm still getting some Netflix. Trailer Park Boys, BoJack Horseman, SpongeBob. Okay. Interesting. Black cover. ABC News. Can Mitch read? Y for yes, N for no. It's a great question. So, continue to get your votes in here on what you would want to watch, Netflix or Hulu. And if you want to get me some recommendations, I would appreciate that. I'm seeing Big Mouth as well. BBC News. Sons of Anarchy. Big Mouth. Tom, he's coming back soon. I see the comment from Why Not. Kevin Otto saying N for Netflix.
Welcome into the Cowboys Report. Some breaking news. Travis Frederick has retired from the NFL. A stunning development here Monday. So we're doing something a little bit different right now. We are simulcasting both on our Cowboys Report YouTube channel and on our main NFL channel. I am Tom Downey. Mitchell Renz will be helping out as well here. But some breaking news on the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Tom Downey. That is Mitchell Renz. Frederick has retired from the Dallas Cowboys, and I am outright stunned, Mitchell. And before you guys start in the comment section, no, this is not fake news. This is real, as we'll dive into in a second. Frederick himself started this.
Yeah, I mean,
or announced this, I should say.
We literally heard Tom drop an F-bomb, and I want everyone right now to type Tom in the comments section because
I dropped an F-bomb.
That's how stunned Tom was when he heard that Frederick retires. Now, this becomes a major need, I think, for this Cowboys team to address either in the draft or do you think maybe they could go out and find somebody in free agency?
Well, I don't think free agency is a great option here for the Cowboys just because there aren't very many startable centers out there. I haven't really dove too far into the list, but it's not a great grouping. As things sit right now, the Cowboys do have some options on the interior of that offensive line. Joe Looney was the one who started when Travis Frederick in 2018 was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome. Near the end of his career, came back, did a fantastic job, but Looney is not, he's not Frederick. And I think in reality, you're not going to find a Travis Frederick, which is a huge blow because he was one of the best centers in the NFL. Now, Frederick wasn't quite the same guy that he was in his prime, and he got better as the year went on. A bit of a slow start, got better by the end of the year. Uncoincidentally, the offensive line and the running game also all got a little bit better. So Looney's probably option one right now. The other option right now for this Cowboys team is actually Connor McGovern. McGovern, who was the third-round pick last year out of Penn State. I'll go through my draft notes there. Still young, durable, starts at both center and guard. That was what Connor McGovern was at Penn State. He could potentially be your starting center this upcoming season for the Dallas Cowboys. So center is now a need. It's certainly more than it was at Travis Frederick, but this is a big-time loss for the Cowboys up front.
Oh, major loss here. I mean, you're looking at not just a leader in the locker room, leader on the field as well. And I think when you talk about this Cowboys team, if you really want to win football games, in my opinion still, it's because of that offensive line. It's being those big nasties up front, winning in the trenches. And Travis Frederick, to me, this is just another case where I think you're seeing a player almost retiring when they're at the peak in the NFL. Like, maybe not his peak, but he is still one of the best centers in the NFL.
He was still in his prime. I think by the end of the year, he'd gotten a little bit closer to being fully back to Frederick. This is a big-time loss for the Cowboys, and I am super stunned by the move. I mean, it was like 2 days ago that Frederick was talking about how the Big C was impacting the NFL and all their prep work plans, and now today releases that statement. It is absolutely stunning here.
I mean, you're just seeing more and more news come out about how stunning this is. So how about this, Tom? We'll play a game. Mm-hmm. What's your one-word reaction to Travis Frederick's retirement? And you can't say what you said earlier.
Yeah, if you were watching NFL Daily, I just dropped an F-bomb when I looked down at my phone and got the alert on it, or my watch because I get alerts on it now. The F-bomb was what I had.
If your word is the F-bomb, just say Tom, because that's what we
that's
say,
fine.
Tom.
I think stunned is up there.
And before I even said that, the Toms come in.
I think upset is another one, and disappointed. And obviously, I get it for Frederick. He's doing what's in the right interest for his own long-term career. I have a tough time faulting players for retired. Speechless, I just saw that one coming on the Cowboys board. That's a really good one, too. If you want to go WTF, I think that one's fine. Speechless, terrified. How about concerned? I mean, the offensive line is a spot this Cowboys team had invested in significantly. Now, I haven't taken the time to dive in yet into what the contract situation is going to look like for Frederick, but I know for a fact he was going to count $11 million, and most of that had already been paid out in future guarantees. I don't think the Cowboys are going to come after Frederick's guaranteed money. Historically, that's not what they've done. They could have done it with Romo. They could have done it with Whitney. They didn't really go that path. So I think there's a pretty good chance that Frederick's cap hit still counts on your roster. Now, you still got plenty of money, but we were talking about how the Cowboys needed to find more defensive help there. Well, now center is up there. I'm scrolling through some of the available free agent list, and it's just not great on the interior of the offensive line. So in reality, I think draft is maybe a route you're going to end up going here for the Cowboys. I mean, you got some guards in there in terms of your free agents. Josh Klein, Mike Person, Darrell Williams, Michael Schofield, those guys have played guard. There isn't really like an obvious plug-and-play center. I don't think there's really anyone out there right now that's an upgrade over Joe Looney or potentially Connor McGovern. So maybe the Cowboys knew that there was some Frederick retirement consideration here, and that's why they re-signed Joe Looney. And that's why they drafted Connor McGovern last year. But this is a huge loss for Dallas. This is a big loss.
I'm seeing free agent, flabbergasted, laugh out loud, and then Tom, continue to get your one-word reactions to Travis Frederick's retirement.
Now, this is what Frederick in his statement. We didn't put the entire thing up there. It was super long. You don't want to see that. But this is kind of the gist of it and part of it. After much consideration, discussion, and reflection, I have decided to retire from football. This was not an easy decision. Football is risky. Each day, players go to work knowing this could be their last day playing. Facing the potential end of my career because of illness forced me to imagine life after football, and I think that's partially why he's maybe a little bit more open to retirement here. I thank the Jones family, the entire Cowboys organization, and my teammates for allowing me to go on this wild ride. I am very lucky to have played my entire career for and with the greatest sports franchise and fan base in the entire world. As I mentioned earlier, this is just part of the statement. He had a whole bunch of other stuff in there, but we focused on just the main key things for you. But Frederick now no longer a member of the Dallas Cowboys. I see some comments saying go get Justin Britt. I don't think Justin Britt's an upgrade over what you have right now. I would rather roll with Looney, McGovern, or a draft pick. I don't think Britt at this stage in his career, given that he's coming off a down year, really moves the needle for you very much.
You're looking at right now the Cowboys offensive line depth chart, and we just asked you for your one-word reaction. So here at Chat Sports, we are a live and interactive YouTube channel, not just on the Cowboys Report, on our main Chat Sports channel as well. So how about this? What's your panic level on a scale of 1 to 10? So 1 being you're not worried at all, 10 being you're pretty freaking worried about this Cowboys offensive line.
I don't know if I'm at a 10 because I probably would have been at a 10 if Joe Looney wasn't on this roster.
Okay.
I've seen Joe Looney at least be a startable center.
Okay.
He's not Travis Frederick. He's not Frederick at his prime. But I have seen Joe Looney be someone who can start for you. I've seen him be that type of player. So that does make me feel better. And I also know the Cowboys did draft Connor McGovern last year, who has center and guard flexibility. So I'm probably still at about a 7 or an 8 because I felt good about the offensive line as I go through my team needs list. I don't know if I had guard on, like interior offensive line on there at all. I wasn't focused on it because you brought back Joe Looney. Yeah, you lost Schofield or whatever. Adam Redmond could even be a backup interior offensive lineman for you. But losing Frederick is a significant loss. So I'm probably at a 7 or an 8 here in the end.
And I'm looking at some 4s. I see a 6.9, an 8, another 8. Continue to get your votes in here. What's your panic level? 1 to 10. So now that Frederick has retired, now you got a new question. Now you got to find a center, right? Now you got to find somebody to fill the shoes of Frederick, which are very big shoes, may I add. So if you want Connor McGovern, type M. If you want Joe Looney, I want you to type L. So who's going to be the new center? Before you get your vote in, I want you to get your votes in. So let us know. M for McGovern, L for Looney. Tom and I will give some shout-outs. All right, Tom, take it away.
I lean towards Looney just because – thank you. Just because he's been that guy before, and I know he can do it. I know he's not coming off of injury like Connor McGovern is. So I lean Looney, but maybe you take a path of maybe you bring in an extra guard in free agency. Ron Leary's available. Maybe that's a route you pursue so that Leary could be your backup, or he competes with Connor Williams potentially. But Leary's not a center. He hasn't really played center. He's been a guard in the NFL, so I don't think he's going to come in and be your starting center. I let Looney and McGovern compete for that starting role if I don't add somebody in the NFL draft, because I don't really think free agency is a path the Cowboys go here.
Who's the best run blocker out of the two?
I haven't really seen McGovern play in the NFL, and I think that's part of the issue there. My notes from the draft on McGovern, the last time we saw him, was he's better in the run game than he is in the passing game.
So I have watched McGovern. I'm a Penn Stater, and I think if you're a Cowboys team, I know you're going to type your L for Looney. I'd actually roll the dice here and type my M for McGovern.
Let him compete.
So let's now look at some top center draft prospects, because free agency looking a little thin. Can't have a thin center, so we got to get some guys that are big up the middle. You got Cesar Ruiz out of Michigan, Lloyd Cushenberry III out of LSU, Matt Hennessy, great name, out of Temple, Nick Harris out of Washington, and then Tyler, I can never get this one right. Biadasz.
Yeah. So they're different types of players, right? And I actually haven't fully done my work on entirety of the offensive line. Let you guys in on a secret. I had planned to do the offensive line last because I knew that was going to be one of the last things I needed to get to. There weren't going to be that many first-round picks on the interior. It was going to be further down my priority list. Well, now it just vaulted up to the top here for the Cowboys. Cesar Ruiz is probably going to be the first interior offensive lineman off the board. I got people DMing like, well, what about Ruiz in round 2? I don't think he gets there. I think because of the team needs for teams like Tennessee, San Francisco, etc., at the end of round 1, I don't think he gets that far. Lloyd Cushenberry, I did do some work on him. He's got power. There are some 1v1 pass protection concerns. You can help out Zach Martin with him. Might make things a little bit dicey since left guard entering this was the main need here for in terms of worst position on the offensive line. Now, center. I do like Matt Hennessy. I think he's had some good success at Temple, was really good in a zone scheme. That's what the Cowboys have done at least a little bit in the past. Nick Harris lacks power. He's kind of almost the opposite of Lloyd Cushenberry. He tends to struggle with those big bodies, but if you want an athletic center, Harris fits that mold. Biadasz entering this year was viewed as center 1. He was banged up this year. He wasn't nearly as good as he was in 2018. That's a big concern there. So I don't think the Cowboys should spend the number 17 overall pick on an interior offensive lineman. Maybe a trade down makes more sense there. But for Dallas, you do now have to explore the center position going forward. I see someone ask me about Clutchy Osemele. A, not healthy. B, is a guard. Yeah. You need a pure center. You have options at least right now with Joe Looney and with Connor McGovern.
So we want you to vote right now. How big of a need is center? 1 to 10. So 1, not that big of a need. 10, it's an absolute glaring need. I'm going to say 7.
I'm going to say about 7. Right. Like, if we're putting, like, with Dak Prescott under contract, quarterback becomes, or maybe, you know what we'll do, running back is a 1 right now for the Cowboys. It's not a need at all. I still think adding more defensive line help, edge help is kind of almost a 10 there. I think for the Cowboys, you almost might gamble a year because you have Joe Looney under contract. You drafted Connor McGovern. Unless there's some great value that you find, which is very possible, I would wonder if the Cowboys would instead, let's roll with Looney for a year, roll with McGovern for a year, see how they go. Then we can still focus our draft being on the defense. I'm not sure how much of an inkling the Cowboys had on this one. I think it might have been pretty low. So center is a need, but you might try with McGovern and Looney. I see 7s, 5s mostly here on the live Cowboys chat. Reminder, we are simulcasting live on our main Chat Sports channel and live on the Cowboys Report channel. I think both could be an option here. Okay. So in terms of that 5 to 7, I think that's about right. The issue is not finding a Frederick caliber replacement. It's finding a starting caliber center, and I think you might have one of those guys. You're not going to find a Frederick in this draft. That's a lot to ask for. He was a special player.
So Travis Frederick, he has retired from football. That's why we asked your panic level on a scale 1 to 10. This is pretty surprising, Tom. You're the Cowboys Report host, and we are simulcasting both on Chat Sports main channel and the Dallas Cowboys Report. So walk me through your thought process here, everything that's just going on around Cowboys.
Well, my initial reaction was, expletive. I was very upset about it. I see that Jerry Jones issued a statement that it was so quickly. Indicates to me the Cowboys had an inkling this was going to happen. Probably explains why they brought back Joe Looney. He's going to be an option for you. They have Connor McGovern as well. But this is a significant loss for the Dallas Cowboys. Frederick was one of the best centers in the NFL.
Oh, yeah. Top 5.
Yeah, he was awesome. Now, he wasn't as great as he was in the middle part of the season. That was a big deal. Or at the beginning of the year, he kind of struggled a little bit. He got back going near the end of the season. It's a significant loss. It's impossible not to be when you lose one of the best players at their respective position. It's a big-time loss.
So it's live Q&A time right now here on NFL Daily by Chat Sports. And also, shout out to the Cowboys Report channel as well. So we want you to both use hashtag NFL, get your questions here on the show, or you can super chat like my man did here. Andrew Vanderpool, does this mean we are looking to draft someone early?
Is this, of course, in reference to the Travis Frederick retirement? I think there is a chance of them taking somebody early, but they do have Joe Looney. They do have Connor McGovern. Now, I think interior offensive line at minimum now is a need. You probably want one more body there on the inside. I don't think they have to take somebody early. So if they fall in love with a Cesar Ruiz or Tyler Biadasz out of Wisconsin or Nick Harris or somebody, that does make some sense. I think from that perspective, it's possible. I don't think the Cowboys here have to go that route.
Let's get in this other super chat rolling in here from Valero DC4L. In my opinion, I think Travis Frederick retired because of all the things going on with his Gobert.
The big C.
Yep, the big C. But that's just me. He is a family man.
I mean, I don't want to speculate what impact that had or has on Frederick's decision. I don't think he mentioned that in his statement. But look, he's been through I might not have football game before. So my inclination is this might have been in the works for a little bit longer than that. But this is another big-name player retires before the age of 30. Frederick, Kuechly, Luck, and even Gronk technically too.
All right, remember to use hashtag NFL to get your questions here on our show.
Or Super Chat.
Aiden, do Dallas save any money on the retirement of Travis Frederick?
Well, they saved the base salary side of it, but when I was looking at the contracts earlier today when this initially broke, the way it's set up is they had restructured Frederick a couple years ago. That money was still being paid out. If they cut him, and that's how retirements are treated, they saved under $1 million. So they do save a little bit. I don't think you're going to see the Cowboys go after Frederick's signing bonus money, the restructure bonus, which they could do. I'll need to double check and make certain, but I don't think there's much savings to be had here for the Dallas Cowboys.
Let's go to Marius. What up, Marius? On a scale of 1 to 10, should Dez Bryant go back with the Cowboys?
3. Dez doesn't fix your receivers issue.
Play center.
And he doesn't play center. Like Dez, there's a spot for Dez in the NFL. I'm not convinced it's actually for the Cowboys. I need a slot receiver right now. That's never been Dez's game. Yeah. I need a return man. That's not Dez's game anymore. I need guys to help me on special teams. That's not what Dez is going to do. So you could go that path if you want to. Just don't bank on Dez Bryant being the guy.
Marius, appreciate the question. Remember to use hashtag NFL, or you can super chat. Let's go to Jimmy Maskey. Appreciate the question. Can the Cowboys get Everson Griffin? Is there interest?
Not at the current price tag, I don't believe. The Cowboys are hesitant to spend money above $6 million per year. That's in terms of outside free agents. So if Everson Griffin comes down to 8-ish, maybe they can have that discussion. I don't think that's where they're at right now. I think Griffin can get more from a different team. Maybe a team that misses out on Clowney, for example, could throw $10 million or so his way.
Let's go to my man Blake Hibbert. John Ross trade. Hashtag NFL.
I think it makes some sense just because Ross does have value. Like, former first-round picks can get you something.
Yeah, they have value.
The Bengals,
speed, value.
If John Ross gets traded, I think it will come during the NFL draft. If the Bengals take a receiver in round 2, if Denzel Mims is there, for example, or something along those lines, they take a receiver early, then maybe they shop John Ross. The team might take a flyer on him. I think he's worth a 5th or 6th round pick potentially, which I think could help the Bengals. But I also wonder if Cincinnati gives him another year and tries to see if he can be a guy with Joe Burrow. I don't think you do it without getting a receiver on that roster. Why would you take away potential options from Joe Burrow? That's not a great idea.
Totally agree. Let's go to Kevin Otto, who is a Bengals fan. Has Andy Dalton's salary prevented him from getting traded? I don't really think so. I think it's, $17.7 million?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the salary that's the issue for Andy Dalton.
It's the market.
Exactly. They're just, like, we saw Tannehill get traded last year, and they could have done something similar, but there weren't that many teams in the market for an Andy Dalton type this year. The Patriots aren't interested. The Bears took Nick Foles over Dalton. That really dwindled it down, so Dalton will not be back with the Bengals at his current cap hit right now. I think that's a potential issue, and I don't think that they're just a real situation. Like, they're not going to pay Dalton $17 million right now. But I'm not convinced it's going to end up being a trade for Dalton just because the market didn't turn out the way they wanted it to.
Totally agree. Let's go to Why Not. What up, Why Not? Logan Ryan to the Chiefs would be a good move for that. They will need to cut Watkins. Yeah. So you cut Watkins, you save $14 million or something like that. Could even be like 21.
And you can pay Logan Ryan, and then you can quickly you still actually have some money left over if you want to work on a Chris Jones and actually bring his cap hit down potentially. I like the idea of Ryan. You lost Kendall Fuller. I think Logan Ryan can play a similar role as a nickel corner. I don't think that Ryan's market has been what he was hoping for.
Yeah.
I think that Ryan wanted to get $10 million plus. Chris Harris didn't go for that. So I wonder if you're going to see Logan Ryan instead taking a 1-year prove-it deal somewhere. And the Chiefs make sense that because they're a Super Bowl caliber team. That type of option, I think, is alluring for a player like Logan Ryan.
So if you're looking for a new NFL jersey, Tom and we found some pretty awesome ones. Go to chatsports.com/jersey deal. So we know we got our Cowboys fans watching. We know we got our Chat Sports team watching as well. We got NFL jerseys for all teams. Cowboys, 49ers, got them all. But once you go chatsports.com/jersey deal, use promo code free ship. Get yourself some free shipping and deals under $80.
Yeah, we'll put that link in the comments and the description of this video for you guys. That way you can just have it and go shop. It's chatsports.com/jersey deal. All types of teams, so not just Cowboys fans. We got you guys covered. All types of NFL teams are out there.
We got a super chat now. We're rolling in here from Pablo Torres at number 17. Draft Epinesa or Gross-Matos?
This is, of course, about the Dallas Cowboys. I don't like Gross-Matos at 17. I would almost go Kayvon Chasen, and maybe you could talk me into a Zach Bond potentially, but I don't love that fit. Epinesa reminds me a lot of Tyrone Crawford. I would almost prefer a truer, bendier edge guy. So those are options. In terms of who would I rather take, I think I'll go with Epinesa of the two. That's a
Despite his bad combine?
Yeah, but I knew he wasn't a great athlete. I was when he was a bad athlete.
Yep.
I think I'd lean more toward Epinesa of those two.
Let's go to this next question rolling in here from JD, who looks really excited judging by his question. It's a $5 super chat. This is why Joe Looney re-signed for a 1-year deal.
Yeah, for those of you that don't quite know what we're discussing here, the Travis Frederick retired from the Dallas Cowboys. See that lower third there, that breaking news for you guys. The Cowboys did bring back Joe Looney. They actually used for Looney the NFL's new version of what the NBA calls their mid-level exception. You can pay a player extra money without it counting against the cap. You only do that for a few guys. Looney was one of those players. Maybe the Cowboys had a bit of an inkling here.
Continue to get these questions rolling in here. You can super chat or you can use hashtag NFL like Aiden did here. Do you think New England Patriots going to choose a quarterback? Is New England Patriots going to trade a draft pick?
Okay, so two different Patriots questions here.
Yep.
Whatever quarterback the Patriots draft, if it's early, I think they'll end up being good. Because fit matters a lot more in the NFL than we really want to acknowledge. And Patriots are a very good fit for pretty much all quarterbacks. That's just like the reality of where they're at. Trading down, I think, is very possible. Now, we'll see what the Patriots do. They still have a good defense and a great special teams as well. Great defense, great special teams. I could very well see a scenario in which the Patriots trade down in round 1, acquire a future premium draft asset to go up and try and get Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields potentially next year.
Let's bring in another question rolling in from Ben Purvis. What do you think of the Eagles trading back and drafting Xavier McKinney? So, curious what you have to think about this one. I like Xavier McKinney out of Bama.
I don't mind that option. Like McKinney, I think comp-wise actually is fairly favorable to Malcolm Jenkins. Like in terms of what Alabama asked him to do and what the Eagles asked McKinney or asked Jenkins to do, there's some similarities there. So I do think it would be a good fit for the Eagles and for McKinney, but they also got to figure out receiver and linebacker, and even I'd say still corner are bigger needs right now than safety. And you can fill those draft needs out later. Getting the extra draft pick intrigues me. You can still take McKinney, get a great receiver in round 2, a good corner with your extra second, extra however far you end up trading down, and add some linebacker depth as well. So it's an option, but I wonder if you're better off sitting and taking a receiver at 21.
Let's go to Gotham Guy. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Remember, to get your question on the show, you can super chat. Last year, there were rumors of a safety Jamal Adams trade for a first round. If the Jets were willing to take a second round, would the Cowboys be interested, even with the acquisition of yes.
The issue with this question is that the answer is yes.
Yes.
And the answer is yes for like 31 NFL franchises. And that's why it's not going to be for a second. Because someone will offer a first-round pick. The issue for the Jets, Cowboys, and the Ravens were involved in those talks, and there was a third team I'm forgetting. They wanted more than just the first-round pick.
Yeah.
So that was the issue there. So, yes, they've been interested in just Cowboys in general. Xavier Woods, Clinton Dix, short-term contracts going forward. Safety is still in the cards early in the NFL draft.
Another super chat rolling in. Appreciate you, Gotham Guy. Let's go to Bro Cave. Should the Cowboys trade for Greedy Williams? So I agree he was a player we talked about a lot.
He slid.
A lot.
Why would the Browns trade him, though? Like, that's the issue. Like, sure, the Cowboys should make a move for Greedy Williams, but, like, why would the Browns take that path? I don't see Cleveland moving on from Greedy after 1 year when he's probably going to be their CB2 long term. Sorry.
So we want you to subscribe. Don't miss anything this entire off season. So we are simulcasting on our main chat sports channel and our Dallas Cowboys report. So whatever channel you're watching on, click that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you know exactly when we go live, or when there's breaking news like, I don't know, Travis Frederick retiring from football. We got you covered the entire offseason, so click subscribe and turn on those notifications. Don't miss anything, because even though the Big C slowed some people down, it's not going to slow us down here at Chat Sports. Let's go to iDiego_10 using his question, hashtag draft. Raiders trade down from 19, take Lamb at 12, take Delpit late first, Diggs or Terrell in the second round. I mean, if the Raiders were to do that, I'd be on board for it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good plan.
It's an incredible draft.
And frankly, I think it's actually very realistic.
Oh, I think them trading down from 19 is very realistic.
You can get Lamb at 12. I think there's at least a reasonable enough chance for that one.
Yep.
Then you'd be able to trade down. Delpit, I think, will be there late round 1.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if you're going to get a true second. You have to move down way to the back end of the first round to get that second rounder. But if you do, I'm not sure Diggs will be there. Maybe Terrell will be there, but there will be a corner there in general.
I know they like Terrell, especially the fact that he's played at
Clemson
Clemson and played with Trayvon Mullen.
So I think that's a really good plan there for Las Vegas.
I like the idea, Diego. Let's go to why not, right? Because why not? What do the Cardinals do after the DeAndre Hopkins trade? I will say that I want Jamar Chase next year.
You might have to suck again to get Jamar Chase next year.
You and a lot of NFL teams want Jamar Chase.
He's gonna be one of the best receivers and another strong receiver
Do you think Jamar
class.
Chase, if he came out this year, where do you think he'd be? Because, like, We've talked about Jamar Chase's talent.
He'd be right in there with the big four, and we'd be arguing over which one's the best, just like we are right now.
That's how talented Jamar Chase is.
He's very good. So I don't know if you'll be able to get Jamar Chase in round one. You can get a receiver again next year. So, look, the Cardinals, I think offensive line, especially right tackle right now, is one of your main areas of focus, specifically in round one.
Let's go to Tom, not your typical beast. How much money does Frederick's retirement spare?
I need to double-check it. I don't think it's very much. The way I understand it, and I could be wrong here, so I'll check in again tonight. With the way that retirements work, they are counted as basically cuts or releases or trades. Like, you have to still pay what was guaranteed to the player. Now, you can choose to go after that guaranteed money. I don't think the Cowboys will go that route. I don't think they'll go after what was a restructure bonus and counts really as an extra signing bonus for Travis Frederick. So, in the end, I think you're only going to end up saving $500,000. Under $1 million in the end with the loss of Frederick. Now, you'll save money, of course, there next year, but that's going to be an issue for the Cowboys this year. Of course, you got plenty of money.
Let's go to Mr. Marsh. Mr. Marsh, you look like a missus. Get a picture. Any chance the 49ers trade for OBJ this offseason? If so, what would the 49ers have to give up?
Niners fans are once again all in on Odell Beckham, and I respect your desire to land him. I don't think it's that high. I think in reality it's probably fairly low. Look, I think in reality Beckham will end up sticking with the Browns. The Niners could pursue it again. Maybe 31st overall entices the Browns. They could get a safety, but they'd also still need a receiver there. So in the end, I don't think you're going to see the Browns trade Odell Beckham. Now next year, if it fails again for a second straight year, maybe it makes a little bit more sense. Now, what we're going to do now